This is kind of morbid, but I'm like, if I'm on my deathbed or like I die tomorrow, and the thing I did yesterday was scroll on my phone, I'm going to be pretty pissed. To the point where it may give me the extra will to live. Because dying in stupid ways is like a pet peeve idea of mine. Like,
then maybe you should do that every weekend. Because then if you get in a near-death scenario, you'll be like, man, I did hell all yesterday. I need to survive this.
No, because even in that situation, if I felt like it was a stupid way to die, I'd be like, this is a stupid way to die. I'm not going to die.
What's a stupid way to die? Like choking on something? Like you wouldn't...
Yeah, that would be dumb.
Yeah.
If, like...
falling off somewhere.
Yeah, that's a stupid way to die.
Roller coaster incident.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
That'd be, man.
I'd be very angry.
What about a plane, though? I feel like a plane feels a little bit different.
It's not a stupid way to die. It's a statistically unlikely way to die. So I would be like, what are the odds?
It'd be like, this sucks, more so than anything.
I'd be really...
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. But I think I have had that thought on a plane, like, whenever there's turbulence or something. And in my mind, I was like, sure would be dumb if I died right now.
So maybe
I
it
think
does fit
it
that
is.
then.
I think, like, the only, in my mind, like, valid way to die is, like, when you're old. Or, like, in a moment of valor.
Mm-hmm.
Every other way is stupid and potentially preventable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, no, not going to die that way.
So you don't take, there's no, like, additional points for a coolness factor?
Well, I think it...
Like struck by lightning, my number one preferred way of dying.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
There
or,
we
like,
go.
if you were, like, caught up in a storm.
Yeah.
Like, that's valid. That's
like, the last thing you
death.
remember is not being able to see anything. You're swept up in a tornado, and there's stuff flying all around, and then, boom, all of a sudden something rams into
Died
your
of
whole
natural
body.
causes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it depends on... Because I was thinking about it, and I think if it was, like, if it was an animal or some type of, like, conscious thing that killed me, that'd be, like, going camping and being mauled by a bear. That's a dumb way to die, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a dumb way to die.
But if it's like a natural occurrence by like just the pure forces of nature, then I think that is...
I agree.
That's okay.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have common ground here.
About what's a valid way to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's following up on our death episode. Have you ever seen 1,000 Ways to Die? Did you ever watch that show?
Some, yeah. I've seen some episodes. There's some pretty crazy... What did I say? Did I say creedy? There's some pretty crazy ways to die.
Yeah.
And that really just helps you... Like, I think one time someone just suffocated under their partner because they were just much bigger than them and they rolled over them in their sleep or something like that.
The one that I remember most prominently is, like, this woman who was obsessed. She was, like, attracted to vomit.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Ew.
Yeah. And so she would go to hot dog eating contests.
No.
And try to seduce the winner.
So make them
So she could make them throw up. And then she tried to do that, and they don't, they're not chewing the hot dogs. They come out in chunks. So when he threw up, he, like, projectile vomited, like, a chunk of hot dog that went down her throat, and that's how she died. I'm sorry, that's not funny. But
I hate that.
But that's the one that sticks with me. I, like, think about it often. I'm like...
You like to think about it often?
No, I don't like to. I just do.
Okay.
Like, I think when hot dogs...
Dude, that's where you got to choose your words carefully.
Or choking comes up.
Yeah.
Like, those
You
things.
happen to think of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair, because that'd be a pretty hard thing after seeing an episode, because they reenact it, right?
Yeah. And then they give you, like, a little anatomical kind of rendering... As to what that looks like, what's happening in your body, and yeah.
You see that chunk of hot dog going, this is disgusting. This is gross.
Speaking of winners,
Winners or wieners?
Winners.
Speaking of wieners.
Speaking of winners, welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome to the AtaZ Podcast. Today's episode is about success.
We have two definitions today that we're going to be looking at. The first one is from Oxford Dictionary, and we also got the where it derived from. So success derived from the Latin word successus, meaning coming up or good result or happy outcome. And the Oxford Dictionary defines success as the achievement of a desired result or outcome, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose, and in later use, often the attainment of wealth, social status, etc. And you said you have the Google definition?
Yeah, but it's pulling from Oxford Languages, so I don't know. But it
so it might be pretty similar.
The accomplishment of an aim or purpose, the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status, a person or thing that achieves desired aims or attains fame, wealth, etc.
Okay. Yeah, so they're integrated into each other.
Yeah, and then they have the archaic meaning too. Yeah.
Successus.
I thought that was an interesting definition because the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, there was something else I saw. Oh, yeah, desired aims.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I never thought, my definition of success is similarly worded.
Right.
But I think when people say what they think, what defines success for them, it's less of like it, it's specific.
Yeah, right, because it's about their...
Mine is not. I don't know. I don't think mine is.
So
but
what is it?
You say what you're going to say. It's about what?
Well, no, I ended up agreeing with what you said as I was interrupting you. So what? But what would you say it is then for you?
I think and it has changed, and we can get more into that later, but... Okay. My idea of success was worded more like, did I do what I say I was going to do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you're going to say you're going to do something, and typically that's going to be a goal that you have, right? Like if you say you're going to do something, you have a goal to do that thing.
Right.
So it's the achievement
of that versus other people. Like I asked someone I know, like, what is your definition of success? And he said, being able to provide for my family. Oh,
right. Yeah.
So it's like...
It's really closely tied to values, typically.
Yeah.
And people will specifically say what it is for them. That's why it's highly subjective at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why people have so many judgments about other people, because they're like, oh, that's not like actual success. Yeah, because they're like, that's not actual success.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting to do in the first place. Why are you judging what other people think of as success?
I think since it's so closely tied to values, people see others having different ideas of success as not being conducive to their worldview and the way they want society to be, right? So like your friend, for example, who explicitly said, well, I think it's about, what was it, family again, right?
Being able to provide.
Being able to provide. So if you then are looking at someone else and their family, or for them, that just means that as a society, it's important for them to, and maybe I'm guessing it was a male, I'm guessing, okay. Mm-hmm. So there's that kind of, sex perception element too, of what it means for a man to be successful versus a woman to be successful as well.
But a woman could have, I want to provide for my family as a definition, and then not have to do with earning.
Yeah, it can. It's just I think that probably people would push back on it because of what they think of when they think of the word provide, because it usually is closely tied to the man and the traditional responsibilities of what they're supposed to be doing for the family. Because you could say that, like, even the traditional roles of women insofar as, like, cooking and housemaking, like, you're providing things through that to your family. But I don't think that word would be used to describe it.
Yeah, and it would be more of, like, a taking care of, probably, in that traditional sense.
The nurturing.
Yeah, yeah. Which is... I guess it is a little bit different to nurture versus to afford.
Right.
It's like two different things. Because one is attending to, and the other one is just like, here you go.
One is like, the one is tending, and then the other one is like resource based, like being able to have the things that we need to serve ourselves. Yeah,
which is an interesting dichotomy, because it assumes that men cannot be tender.
That's the thing that's always confused me, is that, because it's like you'd think that if you just want good parents, then you'd think that you would want both to
have both.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe one can have a little bit more than the other. And, I mean, that's where differences come in and stuff.
Yeah.
But you expect both of them to be caring. You expect both of them to provide in, some form or fashion. So that's always been confusing to me, too.
Maybe these days we expect that.
Yeah. Right.
Because it just sounds like that relationship, that model of success for a family is why it sounds like so many people who are older than us are like, my dad was a hard-working man, but he wasn't sentimental. He gave me a hug one time in my life, and that's when I shot my first deer. Like something like that, I got an A on my test, and so he gave me a hug or a pat on the head.
Right.
And that
or
was
a gun.
And that was it. So it's like, and my mom, she always did everything for everybody, but I never saw her taking care of herself. Like, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know, maybe that is why that's kind of fallen out of practice, because you're like, I don't know if my dad ever loved anybody. I don't know if my mom ever felt like she was really appreciated or something like that.
Right.
And so, I don't know. And then people go, and that's not how I want to be when I'm older. And then they make up their own definition. I saw, and then I'll probably share it. I will share it on our website, atazmedia.com. We have a blog, or a community, I think it's like called community blog or something.
I think you're right.
But I'll share it on there. It was an article from Forbes that I meant to read before this, and it was about the changing attitudes of what Americans value over the years. So I think that would be interesting to read.
Yeah, I think so too. The generational gaps is actually something that I was looking a lot at, specifically in relation to like worth ethic, hard work, and free time, because a lot of like the technological advancements for like common day now household technologies like refrigerators, central heat and air, and stuff like that, like none of that was a commonplace in households until like mid 1900s roughly for all these things. And so people who are older, a lot more of their time outside of their standard job had to be used towards doing, preparing for things like that, preparing for, cold in the winter with, firewood and things, and you couldn't buy stuff in bulk. You had to be more apt in your preparation for food, and there were a lot more people who were farming their own food and everything back then too. And so there was a lot more time being used to take care of your day-to-day stuff that we now have technology for today. And so when they think about hard work and how busy they were, and when their kids too, the boomers' kids were growing up, they saw their parents working really hard and doing a lot of work most of the time, because they just didn't have the capability to have. And that's why I think today too, a lot of this generation growing up is focused more on kind of like a little bit more of a malleable workspace and creativity, because we just have more time for that, you know? So, and then too, because of that, the hands-on kind of work elements of back in the day, when people who are older think about working hard, that's kind of what their mind goes to. So when they see people, quote unquote, working hard on, you know, being well known in like the social media landscape, like they don't see that as hard
that's not
work.
a real job.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because and that's I think that's just like one of the things where you have to really take yourself out of how things were and acknowledge that when you're thinking about success in terms of today, you have to be looking at today. Right? You have to make sure that you're not being too stuck in what it looked like back then and what was good for you given the context, because that same context doesn't exist today.
Adapting.
Yes, it's a different world, and you need to be mindful about that to really know like what being successful today is different than what it was back at that time.
Yeah, I saw this this statistic. It's from Statista.com, and it was about people's, so it was opinions on whether people's chances of success in their country depend on their own effort or factors beyond their control worldwide in 2024. So it had, you know, a bunch of different countries, and whether or not people thought, to put it in different terms, your success is mostly determined by you and what you do, and what you earn. And everybody, there wasn't a single country that was on that list that had more people who believed that that success was mostly dependent on factors out of your control.
Oh, wow.
Like everybody, all the countries had it more. I think and everything was about or not everybody, but I would say a good chunk of it was over 40% of people in all of these different nations believed that. But the weird thing was, for the group that was, people believed that the factor was based off of something beyond your control, none of it was 50%. So somewhere in there is like a group of people who believe in every country that it's kind of both. That's what I would assume. Right. How that statistic should be understood.
Do you know if it, and it's okay if you don't, but do you know if it kind of went into how success is defined by each of those countries too?
I don't think it did.
Okay.
I think it just gave that statistic. But I did think it was interesting that it's like reporting in like Sweden, which isn't that like a socialist or no?
It's like more socialist. Democrat,
yeah, and that like Sweden was 55% of people believed that, and then even
that it was inside or outside your control.
That was in your control.
Okay.
And then like compared to like the U.S. is like 43% of people believe that. So I thought that was interesting, and I would like to know more about it. That despite how much social support you have versus I don't know what countries don't have a lot of support federally, but
I think too that another reason for that difference might be if people in Sweden generally as a culture kind of see success as more based on family and relationships, then that is going to be more easily within their control, because it's about how they choose to interact with people. Whereas in the U.S., it's much more, focused on that hard work, grind, financial stability, climbing up the corporate ladder. And so in the minds of people who were taking the survey in regards to that, they're probably thinking, well, there are all these other people looking out for power. You can only do so much. You still have to be promoted from within by others. There's like a lot more extraneous variables that go into it that are outside of me.
And it was a quarter, for the U.S., a quarter of Americans, or whoever was polled, believed that it was more about external factors. So I can find that link and put that in the blog post too, because I would like to know more about that, because I do think it's interesting that you can have like nations like Peru's on here, 57% of people believe that. In Indonesia, 61% of people believe that. So you can have these different kind of levels of culture, different national support systems, and still everybody kind of feels like the onus is on you to be successful, which I guess is interesting when you think about success as a culture versus success as an individual, because I guess we never really talk about or think about success as a group thing. It's always discussed, or I've only ever heard it discussed individually, or like if you're doing a project or something.
Yeah, right. Or like trying to start a business, you know, but not in terms of like an overall community, or even really like the country either.
Yeah, that's it. Well, maybe like people think the success of the country is tied to like the GDP.
Yeah, well, yeah, in part. But you don't have like everyday people kind of considering that. You know, you have the decision makers and policy makers, you know, thinking about that, because that's what bases, you know, their decisions. But you don't have the everyday person thinking, how can I provide to the success of my community and country today? Yeah, no,
you're right. We don't think about that, and they wonder if we should or not. That seems like a more collectivist. I'd be interested. I don't think China was on here.
It's a lot easier for smaller, cohesive countries.
I don't even know if it's smaller. I think it's just countries that have more of like a
densification.
Selfless,
I would say, because if you're smaller and you're more dense, because even
China's not small. It's huge.
Well, no, but I'm thinking of like Sweden.
I know, but I'm talking about China.
Well, I'm talking about Sweden.
Because I feel like and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we had some people in the internship, the writing internship that I did, and they were talking about how, like, because it was during COVID, and one of the people in the cohort was going back to China, so that she could get some medical treatments. So she was here in the U.S. and she was going back to China. And when she got there, she had to stay in these medical hotels, because you had to quarantine for a certain amount of time before you were able to like enter the general population again. And we were like, oh, is it so, like, because she had to stay in her room, and like the people were like bringing them food, but they couldn't leave. And we were like, oh, that must be so hard. Like, was it weird? And she was like, no, because I feel like in China, like, we just believe, like, it's for the good of everyone for this to be happening. So, no, it wasn't hard. And I don't know. I'm not saying that all Chinese people believe that, but I thought that was an interesting thing to contrast in the United States, where like you couldn't even ask somebody to wear a mask because it was infringing upon their personal right. So if you think about the success of the country, like let's say the response to COVID, were we successful? I don't know. Maybe not, you know, because we don't have like a sense of duty, not a legitimate one. Because some people are like, you don't have to pay your taxes. We don't feel like we owe that. We can just, I'm going to drive on these roads. Right.
And I think it stems from the belief that we don't have as much of a duty to our country as our country has a duty to us, which is to not allow our individual rights to be infringed upon.
Right. It's important when you think about your own individual success, and maybe this applies to a broader group, is that I don't think you should valorize your past. It's kind of like what you were saying, like keep up with the times. Your success, and some people would be like, don't rest on your laurels. Like don't just stop at your wins of the past, because that was a different time. Your body was different. And I don't think we really think about that enough. Like by now, every cell in your body, not every cell, but like it's all been replaced. You're a different person. Straight up. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So it's like, you can't do what you did before. You can't see as well. You can't hear as well. You can't think as fast. why are you holding yourself to a version of you that was like, maybe they were in their physical prime or something, maybe they were in their mental prime, but maybe this part of your life is defined by you're in your spiritual prime now that you're older. Mm-hmm. You're in your social prime now that you're older. Your love prime, whatever. Like, it, you know.
Yeah, the wisdom.
Yeah, that it's that growing older is its own achievement, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's why on the individual level, I think that's why people start thinking about their health more, because they're like, crap, what's happening
once
to
you
me?
hit 30 and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
It occurs to you. And that's also 30, it sounds like 30 into your 40s is where you start changing, like, your definition of success, that then will start to be the thing you're carrying with you, it feels like, for the rest of your days.
It can be hard to transition out of whatever mindset you had established for yourself for what success is.
It can be hard, but I feel like almost everybody I know, almost everybody does it. Like they have, like, I feel like that midlife crisis period.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Where, but I also think like the quarter life crisis. It's just like those are, which crisis is like a weird way to talk about it, because they're just like key transition points in your life. And I think at those transition points is where you start to check in with your definition of success, because enough time, it's almost been 25 years. You know, it's like every 25 years you start to be like, okay, is this working out? Do I want to be like this for the next 25 years, for the next 15 and 20 years?
I think we should call them software updates instead.
Software updates.
Yeah.
That's
quarter life
beautiful.
Software update, midlife software update.
Yeah, let's really embrace the time that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what it is. Because you're like, okay, yeah, it's different now. We have better services, technology, you know, whatever. I have a better understanding about what's going on around me and myself.
Yeah.
Let's update.
Yeah, I agree with that. Did you find any other interesting stats?
I didn't find as much stats as much as I was, because when I was looking into the generational differences and really started thinking about those technological differences, that just got interesting to me. So I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with that, and was just like, that makes so much sense though, why they put so much emphasis on actual, like, you know, hard work. And being like, you have it so much easier today, when it's not necessarily the case. I mean, it is, things are easier, but some things are also harder. And I think sometimes when you're growing up in a certain in a certain kind of environment, and you went through all those hardships that you experienced, and you see how easy people have it in those same fields today, that it can be difficult to see the things that were easy for you back then but hard for people today, like home ownership. College costs and stuff like that, because the difference between the earnings and the cost of college it's proportionally much worse today.
Yeah.
But it's not something that people acknowledge as much that are older.
With the college thing, it wasn't required. It wasn't necessary or viewed as necessary to go to college to be successful.
Right.
Because at that point, you had trades, and the trades were strong. The thing I was thinking about earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, with the home ownership thing, is that like so many people who own a home have a home because of the military, because of the GI Bill or military benefit. I don't know everything how it works, so please nobody bite me on it. But I just wonder, like, with the amount of people who don't go to the military now, like, maybe we say that thing where we're like, oh, now nobody in our generation can afford a home, and so such and such generation ruined it for everybody. Well, maybe they never, I don't know, I would be curious to know, maybe they never would have afforded a home either, but they went to the military, and that
helped them out.
Helped them out, and so that could be the case, and that has to do with the shift in attitude toward the government, toward the military, where that's not something that is being afforded to younger people because they don't want to go participate in those institutions. So then you have to rethink even in the real estate industry, I wonder, like, I feel like it benefits developers and real estate, what's the word? Realtors. I was like, what are those people called? To really be a part of the solution, because if can't nobody afford a home, you're not making no money.
Banks, how financing works.
Banks, like, everybody has to participate, because if nobody can participate, you're not going to make any money.
That's a good point, and that's a big problem, because there's not this comprehensive evaluation of what all needs to go into this to make things better for people, so that it is easier for them to achieve certain levels of success.
I think it's starting to click, because that was the interesting thing about going to the conference that I just went to, and it was on planning. Maybe within the last 5 years, the emphasis was on cities needing to update their zoning code. Well, every city is doing that now. Every city is trying to figure out how they can create more mixed use, create more walkable communities. So now it's not the problem. The city's not the problem. It's everybody else. The private side has to catch up. The lenders have to,
right.
All of that has to catch up. So it's like, also when you're in the process of redefining success as a collective, and therefore creating new goals for the individual, like, someone has to go first, and it's going to still be kind of clunky, which makes some goals really unattainable as you're trying to lower it sounds bad to say that, but like, lower the bar so that everybody can have these things. I did find some quotes on success.
Go for it.
I'd like to share.
Let's discuss.
Okay. I don't know much about everybody and their politics that's in this list, and I'm good for a disclaimer, so don't come at me later talking about why did you quote so and so, because they are a famous person.
And let's I want to say this too, in addition to that, is that these are quotes, and so even if you can appreciate a good quote from a person you don't like.
Yes.
If the quote is good, and it's something like, if I were to just if this had been spoken to me from the ether, I just heard it in my ear one day, would I relay this to others? Like, that's the question,
Yes. So that being said, this first quote is from Winston Churchill.
Okay, I thought you were going to name someone just like completely horrible.
No. So he said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts."
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Einstein said, "Try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value."
Oh.
Coco Chanel.
Who?
She's founded
Chanel number one?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, really? Oh,
yes.
Wow. Okay.
She said, "Don't spend time beating on a wall hoping to transform it into a door."
That's a good one, because then you just get a hole in the wall
that you can walk through.
You can, but you can't shut it.
But you can't shut it.
You can't protect yourself. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln said, "I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let him down."
Oh, he should have made a kids show.
Good man.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Johnson, also known as The Rock,
What?
said, "Success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come."
Yeah. I don't know if you have more, but in relation to that, and then you can keep going if you do have more, I did think about how success is subjective, right? We've established that. Depends on what the individual values, what they're focused on. But with that in mind, there are some like basic elements that are needed to be able to succeed. Like you need to be determined, right? Or else whatever it is, you're not going to be able to consistently work towards that thing to be successful at whatever it is, whether it's family or work, finances, whatever. And then there needs to be some element of work ethic, not in the sense of how it was viewed traditionally, like we were saying earlier with, different generations, but just in whatever way that looks for the individual's goals, right? And then I would say the other two probably are good health. You kind of need good. I mean, you can be successful in things without good health, but not being in good health, you won't have probably as much time to work or to take part in those things. Like, let's say it is family. If you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not going to live maybe as long as you would have.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to play as much with your children or grandchildren, for that matter, right?
Yeah.
And then having solid foundations, good connections with others, because it takes more than usually yourself to be successful in the things that you want to be successful in. So you got to treat others well, have good connections, and build those foundations.
So there was an article, and I skimmed it. So there's an article from Forbes that was titled "You only 10% of your success comes from performance," and so then it gives an acronym for what's important for success. So it's called PI. So it's performance, image, and exposure. And so the performance pieces: are you good at what you do? Are you productive and effective? Do you blow benchmarks out of the water? Image is, are you the responsible one, the team builder, or the crisis manager? What are you known for?
Oh, what role are you playing?
Mm-hmm. Do people come to you for creative ideas, or are you the master of data analytics? So yeah, what function, what's your contribution, your unique contribution, I guess.
What's your function junction? Isn't that a...
Conjunction junction.
Oh.
What's your function? Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then exposure, which is how often are people talking about you and your work? It is not just your good work. It is how often people speak and reference your achievements. And so it says it's 10% performance, 30% your image, 60% your exposure. Yeah. I don't know.
That seems to make sense to me, I think.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting.
Especially that exposure is so high, because you kind of do... People have to... Well, I mean...
it depends on what you mean by success.
Right.
Because that's workplace success.
I was about to say, that's more along the lines of traditional, ideas of success.
I mean, it's Forbes, so...
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's pretty, hustle, grind. But I do have a few more quotes. Let me go back.
Go for it.
Okay, so David Rockefeller said, success in business requires training and discipline and hard work. But if you're not frightened by these things, the opportunities are just as great today as they ever were. Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Mm-hmm.
Vision cleared, huh?
Stop doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Banksy said, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit.
That's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Shonda Rhimes, who did How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal, those shows.
Oh, I love How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that the one with the college kids?
In law school?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good show.
She said, dreams are lovely, but they are dreams. Fleeting, ephemeral, pretty.
Yeah.
But dreams do not come true just because you dream them. It's hard work that makes things happen. It's hard work that makes things happen.
Had to say it twice.
Had to say it twice, yeah. Maya Angelou, who's a poet and a writer, she said, and an activist, and she said, you may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeat so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. And then I have 3 more. Diana Ross, who's a singer and an actress and an icon, She said, instead of looking at the past, I put myself ahead 20 years and try to look at what I need to do now in order to get there then.
And that's kind of, that's kind of the same, because we've talked about living in the present a little bit. And that's still, even if you're thinking about what you want in the future, you're focusing on the present by just acknowledging what it is you have to do now in order to achieve those future goals. I
started thinking about that as like, if you're out in the field or whatever, let's say you're out in a meadow.
Oh.
Okay. And then
Daisies.
there's a wind. It's maybe overcast, but it's brisk. Yeah.
Cool.
For sure.
Sweet.
And if you say, I want to climb a mountain, I want to climb that mountain that's way over there.
Yeah.
You just have to start walking in that direction. So I think about, like, you live in the present, but you have to angle yourself toward where you're trying to go.
That's good imagery. That's a good metaphor. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
Thank you. That's like, because, I have a hard time. So I have to, like, make it like a real thing in my mind.
I like to imagine that you're like, that you have, like, a lot of Play-Doh. And then you have to, like, make out scenes that,
I kind of do.
You're like, this makes sense for me now.
Yeah.
I have this man here walking towards this mountain. I get it.
Yeah. It has to be a thing that I can grasp. Yeah. Booker T. Washington said, nothing ever comes to one that is worth having except as a result of hard work. And then Conan O'Brien said, if you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things will happen. And then
I think that's a big piece is kindness.
It is a big piece. Here, let me go to, I got a lot, so let me find one more.
And then I think we can go into maybe failure and fear.
Yeah. Okay, would you rather hear from Michael Phelps, Mark Cuban, or Angela Bassett?
Let's do Michael Phelps.
Okay. Michael Phelps said, there will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits. Michael Phelps, y'all.
Michael Phelps. He won a medal for something one time.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I heard about that.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
So, what? What did you say we were talking about now?
Failure and, which he kind of mentioned, failure and fear.
Okay.
Because the one thing about all of this is that success isn't a thing that you can do no matter what it literally, no matter what it is, you cannot be successful in anything, like overnight, right? Relationships, like whatever individual idea of success you have for yourself, it cannot be achieved overnight.
It's a long-term vision.
Yes, it takes practice, it takes messing up, which leads to learning, which is why you have to be consistent and dedicated, because that you have to keep going after you find out what works and what doesn't. That goes with, like, inventions. How many times did bro do the light bulb? Like, so many times before it, like, came to fruition.
I feel like I heard something about Edison that he didn't actually. Did he invent it, or did he steal it from somebody?
I don't recall. That's why I went with dude, because I wasn't going to make the
whoever he was.
Yeah. Hundreds of times, right? Hundreds of times. That's the thing. And so, but that's why, like, when it comes to, because I think perfectionism is that was a thing for me, just in terms of also just starting this podcast too, or any kind of thing or venture that I had wanted to do in the past. And I think it stops a lot of people, because with that, there's the fear, and then there's the perfectionism, and people are like, oh, this needs to be good from the get-go, or else. But traction comes with time and with perseverance and the repeated pushing of things out. If it's something like this, you have to keep doing it, because it's just not going to happen. I mean, there are these people who, I guess you could say, what is it called? You have, what's a good word for successful nepotist, maybe? I'm trying to think of a term for these people where someone in their family or their parents are already well known or something, and then they just come out with something and it's boom, already successful from the get-go. But because it's by association, that might be like the only... Is it
successful by association, or is it's a good thing and then they get kind of like what we were just looking at with the 10%?
Well, sometimes it's just, I don't know, maybe you're right. I'm thinking about maybe someone...
a blast because of who their parents are.
Yeah, well, because like starting a clothing brand, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I'm starting this clothing or makeup brand, and it's like a Kardashian or whoever, I mean, the clothes might actually be good quality and stuff, but anyone else starting off with that same quality of clothing with no notoriety it's going to take a lot more time for people to start catching up on, like, this is really good quality. I really like how these clothes feel, or the style of them. It's a little bit different from other ones that I'm familiar with, right?
Yeah. What about it?
That's it.
Oh,
that's it. That's probably like the one exception to like overnight successfulness, is if you already have some element of notoriety through something else.
Well, the overnight success part...
Overnight oats.
...is like success in that what, right? Because let's say it's like a fashion brand. You still have to sell X... So you have to... The goal is to sell X amount of units of the thing.
You're likely going to sell a lot, though, at first, if you already have the notoriety to...
Right.
But and maybe that's the difference between... if you're already a successful person or family, then
people are more likely to think,
yeah,
because your reputation suggests that you are someone worth doing business with or giving money to.
The success is already there.
Yeah,
you're just now doing another thing under the umbrella of that pre-existing success.
Which is to say that maybe when you achieve some level of success, it's almost like when people say, like, let your money work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I always think it is, like, and you can say whatever you want to say about this, but I think it's really important to have a good reputation.
Oh, yeah.
Because your reputation will do work for you. Like, this whole, like you just gotta not care. You just gotta da-da-da. That's not me, man. I think you should hold you should have integrity. And if that's what people are trying to say, then sure. And you should, be yourself. But your reputation can do so much work for you in terms of providing you. That's the exposure piece. If people are talking about you and you have a good reputation, then you're going to start getting opportunities to do more of what you want to do.
Because people just want to be involved with you.
Yeah.
Because they know there's not going to be any, like, drama or, like, hardships through working with you.
Yeah, like, even if it's like you're a really good friend, so you will probably make more friends. You're a really good parent, so maybe your partner is going to want to have more kids with you because you're, and so it's like how you show up, what people think about you does matter.
It's like those memes that go around of people talking about how in certain, like, jobs and stuff, they're like, you don't even really have to be, like, you can be mediocre or, like, just, like, base level okay at your job, but as long as people like you, you're golden.
Yeah, I saw when I was in college and we had, like, a professional development class for planning, we read this article that was like, you have to have 2 of 3 things to be successful. You either have to be on time, you have to be really likable, or you have to be good at your job, and you only need 2 out of 3. So pick your 2. You may always come in at 8:30, but damn if you're not good at your job and kind.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Talking about no one specific.
No.
Just an example.
Just an example. Success comes in many forms, y'all. Many different variables.
Yes. I wonder if you think back, though, to everybody who you've ever worked with, like, maybe they got fired.
Everybody I ever worked with?
They only have one. No, but somebody who got fired. Or who nobody liked working with them. Mm-hmm. I bet it's because they had one or none of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
You either got to severely mess up I mean, maybe unless you're in like the corporate world, maybe you can make like a little mistake.
No, I don't think they care about that. I think you can have all three in the corporate world and
be
still
fired.
fire
Yeah,
you.
right. Yeah.
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 That doesn't count there.
Yeah.
Because they just do that sometimes.
Just depends too. Like if you may be likable, but if they like someone else a lot more and they don't like you
as much,
or if the person they like a lot more doesn't like that other person,
then you're up a creek.
Yep.
Do you feel like you have different definitions of success based on different areas of your life, or do you have one unified vision for success?
I think it's unified. I think that after going through, but I think it's unified because I have kind of a streamlined idea of, because I know what I value and what I want out of life, which is strong bonds and relationships with people who I care about, and then also being able to be in a position where people, I guess, take something from, like I want to be able to eventually my idealized version of success in the realm of, like, I guess the world, or what I'd like to be doing, is being able to provide input for people to consider. Right? Does that make sense?
That's your definition of success?
For myself, like, if it's kind of similar to the friend that you would ask, them saying like being able to provide. For me, it's being able to leave people with nuggets of thought that they could use, that is available for them to be able to use to better their lives or relationships in some kind of way. Or providing a service or something that leads to better lives for people.
So how would that look in your friendships or your family? Because that makes sense for your career. Mm-hmm. Like, really, in your career...
Well, but it's being there for them. Being there for them, and whenever they have something that is going awry or they want to talk about it, having those discussions with them and giving input and advice, and just letting them know that if they were to decide to come talk to me, they feel welcome to. Two, that they know that there's not going to be any judgment there. And three, that they can expect, if nothing else, to be able to leave feeling like they got something off their chest at the least, and at the most that they left getting something that they feel like they can now apply to whatever challenges they were facing.
Okay, that's consistent with what I know
about
you.
Me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Considering, like, you were interested in psychology and policy and... Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It all aligns together. I've put a little bit of thought into this.
All right.
And what about you?
I think because I was thinking about it earlier, my definition of success is probably unified. It is unified. And I think at this point in my life, which I don't know if I'm articulating this the best, but I think my definition of success is just trying to be, like, as present and involved in my life as I can be. Good or bad. I want to be not in my head about it and in my real world about it, and to move through it, whatever it is, not to get stuck in it, but
this is lovely.
And to, like, learn from it.
Yeah.
So that I can keep going.
Yeah, and
moving.
This fits you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It fits because the demons you've been fighting.
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean,
for real. FR.
So my definition of success, I'd be curious if yours has changed. Mine has changed. If about 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and probably up through my adolescence and early 20s, my definition of success would have just been doing what I said I was going to do. Whatever it was. I'm going to do this. Did I do it? Did I hit the mark? And that could be everything from like, I'm going to do my hair this exact way, or I'm going to achieve this exact thing.
That sounds tiring.
Yeah, I used to tell one of my really good friends, I just really want to be highly accurate and very precise. Like, I want to hit the mark that I'm trying to hit every single time. And he said the same thing. He was like, it doesn't work like that, basically. That's not possible.
I think that, and I think it's just because of how it's been used, we put a lot of weight on the idea of success. And that's why my go-to for what you're saying is that sounds really tiring, is because if you're looking at success in those terms for every kind of part of life, even the little things that you're doing, then that's putting, through use of that word, a lot of weight on the actions that you're taking.
Well, I don't think I was thinking about it that way.
That heavily? Okay.
But I was thinking, like, I think that was my idea of, like, what you should strive for. What are you trying to achieve? That's what I'm trying to achieve. What is my desire?
Yeah, because you're saying, like, why am I even, if I'm going to try to do this thing, I need to try to actually do it, you know?
I need to do it, and I need to do it the way I said I was going to do it. And it did become very difficult because I was constantly letting myself down, like, all the time, which is really erodes your belief in yourself, because your goals are unrealistic. And so if you do that, then you're gonna not trust yourself. You're not gonna trust your brain. You're not gonna believe in yourself. None of it. But I did that, I think, just because I thought that that's what everyone else was doing. And then also, like, I cared a lot more. Like, I just wanted other people to be pleased with me. I just think, looking back, that was the most. I wanted them to be pleased. I wanted them to be impressed. I wanted them to admire me. Like, that was more important to me. Like, that was going to make me happy. That was the only thing that was going to make me happy, even though there were other things I knew that did make me happy, but they didn't mean as much to me. I had a lot of days where I was just kind of, like, looking up at the sky, and, like, or I would be outside with my dog, and I was like, I don't know, it was just, there were a lot of moments that I was having in the past 3 years where everything was like, it really helped me understand my anxiety, though, because sometimes your anxiety can tell you this is the end of something, and it's not actually true. And I kept feeling that over and over again, but it would pass. And then there would still be this moment that was like, how long have I been here? And it could have been in 5 minutes or 5 hours, but it was just like this deep level of, like, it doesn't matter because this is where I am and this is who's in front of me. I need to try to be here because I'm starting. Yeah. And then that, because also that's all I can do. That's all I could do
and
at the time. And the
thinking just takes time away from that.
Yeah, and so it was just like, and I wanted to get away from all the thinking. And the more I try to get away from it, the only way to get away from it is by being anchored in where you're at.
And being active.
What's in front of you.
You know, involved in whatever it is you're taking part in. Yeah,
because going further into it is not going to help. And so I think that that's why now my idea of success, and, like, at the time I felt like all I can do is just take each day as it comes, because honestly things were pretty variable, and that was just turned out to be the truth. I just have to take today for today, and tomorrow may be different. and then just kind of broke down everything such that that's my life now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. It is very strange to not know what's coming.
Not all mental or intellectual problems are meant to be solved by
thinking,
intellect, or mental capacity.
Yeah, you can't. But also, it's like, it actually, your brain will solve it if you leave your brain alone and let it work. You have to have like some faith that it's gonna turn out okay.
And just take a step back.
Yeah, and so that's how I think like success is really like a big part of your mindset. Like, it almost, whatever your frame of success is now your frame of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Has your definition always been kind of the same, or has it evolved?
I would say, yeah, it's kind of it's pretty much the same. Because before, because, you go back to what I had talked about in episode 2 with my external focus onto others and stuff. My thought, or my idea of what makes me valuable, which is a pretty similar question to, what does it mean to succeed for you? What value? I would say, or at least for me, they're intertwined. My value, and if I'm succeeding, I'm providing the value that I find to be important.
Interesting. To
my life, and both of those together are being helpful or present or there for others, and so, like, even when you're talking about, when I was originally thinking about maybe being a psychologist or counselor, it's always been centered around helping, being assisting people in some kind of form or fashion. And so I haven't really had a significant change, because I was even kind of like that when I was younger. I wasn't thinking about it in that way, but I was very much so the type to see how I can help the people around me. So it's always kind of been centered on that. I think maybe it's become a bit more clear, maybe, but I wouldn't say that it's ever really changed necessarily.
The reason I'm thinking about that, how your success is tied to your value, sort of thing.
Well, because it's you're going to feel good, right? Like, you're not going to find that success necessarily about how you're living your life is going to be different than what you feel makes you valuable, right? At least I'm at this point having a hard time seeing how they can be different, or at least not intertwined with one another.
Well, I don't know that, but your definition of success, well, interesting, because of everybody's definition of success, it depends on how much it is tied to what they think in achieving that success is going to do for them, and then also what it's going to do for others. Right.
It's that outcome.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, what is all of that going to do for you?
It's going to make me feel good. It's going to make me feel like I have value, because I'm providing something to people. I am doing something that, if you were to take a survey and ask people, has Zach provided some, benefit to your life? And it can be even as small as, like, and that's why there are different levels of success. I would say that, let's say that this, for whatever reason, or I'm never able to get to a point to where I'm reaching like a large group of people in hearing what I say and being able to like make differences in their lives. Just the mere that's a certain level of success, but the mere fact that I have those around me who I care for and who care for me and who have helped me in my life, and I have also helped them, then I'm still succeeding. Even now, I'm succeeding because I'm making sure that I'm keeping those bonds and those bridges, and that there is that back and forth between myself and others, and that we're there for each other. So it's a different level of success, but I'm still succeeding, and I feel that I have value in that, and other people have value to me in that, even if it's not, because helping too is just also being able to decompress and have a good time. Even if you're not talking about deep things that are bothering you, you can still be participating in a fun activity and enjoying your moment. To sum it all up, don't be afraid of change and trying things and making mistakes, because that's what leads to success, as it is a long-term endeavor. And allow yourself to do not midlife or quarter-life crises, but software updates, to remind yourself, okay, what is my life like now? What's the context? What's important to me? How is success and my values, how are they changed in relation to what's around me now? What do I want to focus on? And move forward with that in mind. This was Success with Amber Long and Zachary Birdsong. Thank you for listening to another episode of the AtaZ Podcast. Please comment any ideas that you have or that you'd like to hear us talk about in the future. We'd love to hear some. We appreciate it. Farewell.